Good day. Today we will discuss about genetic mechanism of population change. Have you wondered why species change over time? Why some traits become more common while others disappear? Well, the answer lies in the genetics. Today, we're diving into the fantastic world of genetic mechanism of population change, the driving forces behind evolution. Why do population change? Population evolved due to genetic changes. These changes help species adapt and survive. There are four main characteristics behind this. Populations don't stay the same forever. Over generations, they change due to variation in their genes. These genetic changes happen through four main characteristics. Here are the four main characteristics list. Mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, neutral selection. Each of these plays a crucial role in shaping the genetic makeup of a population. Let's take a closer look. Mutation, random DNA changes. Mutation happen by chance. They introduce new traits into a population. Some mutation helps, some hurts, some do nothing. Imagine you're typing an important document, but you accidentally hit the wrong key. That's kind of what happens in mutation, except instead of a keyboard mistake, it's a random changes in an organism's DNA. Mutation can happen naturally when DNA copies itself, or due to environmental factors like radiation or chemicals, and while some mutations can be harmful, others might be beneficial or no effect at all. For example, have you ever heard of antibiotic resistance bacteria that caused by a mutation that makes certain bacteria survive antibiotics, allowing them to multiply and spread? Pretty wild, right? Mutations are found of genetic variations. They created new traits that might be passed on to future generations. Next, let's talk about gene flow, also known as genetic migration. This happens when individuals move from one population to another and bring their genes with them. Think of it like two different music playlists. When you mix them together, you get a new, diverse playlist. Similarly, when the organisms from different populations interbreed, they introduce new genetic variations and increase diversity. For example, if a group of birds from one island flies to another and starts breeding with the local population, their genes mix leads to a new traits in future generations. Gene flow helps population adapt and prevent them from becoming too genetically isolated. Now, let's talk about genetic drift. Random changes in traits affects small population the most. Traits can disappear just by chance. This one's all about luck, unlike in natural selection, which favors useful traits. Genetic drift happen randomly, especially in small population. Picture a jar full of colorful marbles. Each represent a different gene. If you randomly pick a few marbles to start a new jar, some colors might disappear just by chance. That's how genetic drift works. There are two types of genetic drift. First, bottleneck effect, when disaster reduces population size. When a natural disaster wipes out most of a population, only a few individuals left, reducing genetic diversity. Founder effect, when a small group starts a new population. When a small group starts a new population, they carry on a limited set of genes from the original group. This process can lead the loss of certain traits and even make population more vulnerable to environmental changes. And finally, we have natural selection, one of the most powerful forces in evolution. Organisms with helpful traits survive and pass them on. Over time, these traits become more common. This process favors individuals with traits that help them survive and reduce, making those traits more common over time. A classic example: the preferred month during the Industrial Revolution. Before industrialization, most months were light colored, blending with the tree bark, but when factors covered tree in soot, darker months had a survival advantage because they were harder for predators to spot. Over time, more dark colored moths survive and pass on their genes. Natural selection constantly shapes population, helping them adapt to their environment. So why should we care about this genetic mechanism? Because they explain how life evolves. They show us why species change, how new traits emerge, and even how we, as humans, are still solving today. Understanding this process helps scientists in fields like medicine, conservation, and agriculture. For example, knowing how gene flow works helps conservationists protect endangered species by maintaining genetic diversity. And studying mutations lead to medical breakthroughs like developers treatment or genetic disorders. To sum it up, population change over time due to mutation, gene flow, and genetic. In conclusion, populations are always changing. This mechanism shapes all life on Earth. Evolution is happening now. That's all. Thank you very much for listening. Stay curious.